as a leader, and it's kind of interesting how at different points in my career I handled stress and things differently. When I worked at a bigger company, I worked at a company called CareerBuilder. It was really interesting. I don't know. I think it's because I worked at a bigger company. I I was able to go into a leadership role and take more of a long-term mindset to that role. That I remember very specifically sitting down, like talking to myself a little bit, saying, "Okay, I think I got the job in March." It's like, "All right, you got 9 months to turn this thing around." And I was like very deliberate. I'm like, all right, these are the things, these are the people on the team that are there that I need to develop. These are the people I need to move out. This is the bench I need to build. But I was able to take a more long-term approach. Well, then fast forward, I remember, 4 or 5 years later when I took over as VP of sales at Glassdoor, it was like me, I brought another guy with me who had worked with me before, and it was like go hire 40 people immediately and go figure all this stuff out. And so the stress was just like completely different. And I didn't for whatever reason, I don't know why. Maybe again it's just like that pressure, higher. I wasn't able to take the same like 6, 12, 24 month horizon mentally. And so why I'm sharing, some of this with you all today is that, look, we're living in a world right now, where I think a lot of people out there, again, we're talking a lot about work-life balance. We're talking a lot about other things as well too, in terms of what works, what doesn't work for certain people. And I think the other problem is like you see kind of work-life balance stress, and it's always like take a break, and you got to do this and take time for yourself. And I advocate for that, all of that. But also you've got to kind of come up with constructs that work in the environment that you're in. Tip number one. All right. So this is again how I think about being more productive and less stressed. For me, um, my calendar is how I run my life. This is my calendar for this week. I don't even know how many meetings this is, right? You can even see Friday's kind of light. Do I have a haircut in here in case any of you were key? I don't know. That's maybe 50 meetings. There's my men's league basketball. I play in a men's league basketball team. 50, 60 meetings. And for a lot of people, I think that that's like, what? Like that's stressful. And for me, it's fun. Like it's literally the opposite. Now, trust me, I don't like to sandwich like 3 weeks in a row necessarily. But you'll see there's like days in the middle that were a little lighter, etc. But for me, having it all in the calendar relieves all the stress because I'm like, oh yeah, when am I going to work on that? So I'll block out internal work time. So I don't just, you know, block out meetings I have, I block out internal work time as well too. And so for me, because I calendar all of these things, you might look and say, holy crap, this guy's got insane and I'm like, no, like there's no, it doesn't give me anxiety. Like it doesn't. I mean, you can ask people who have worked with me for years and years, and they'll tell you like Jake just likes it that way. And again, for a lot of people, to me, there's a freedom, right? I very rarely wake up in the morning or at the middle of the night. You have that where you're like, oh, I forgot about that thing. And no, my calendar takes care of it all. So if I know I got to get something done by XYZ, it goes in the calendar. And then the other thing that I do too is with my calendar, like I'll give you kind of, this is my like my 1B tip. So if 1A is calendar everything, like 1B is cancel or like move meetings that don't matter anymore. Like how many times you get some thing you booked from like 3 weeks ago, and then you're like, man, that stuff doesn't even matter anymore. Like it doesn't even matter that I'm like doing that anymore. So for everyone out there, just think about that I will do that. Like I'll probably look at my calendar at my meetings I've got on Thursday, Friday, and definitely the week after, and I will move the ones that don't matter anymore.